Audio 1, name of the book, Stories of Saints. Reverence for Teacher. In childhood, Ram Tirtha studied at home from a Maulvi of his village. After primary education from him, he was sent to a school. Swami Ram Tirtha's father wanted to give something to Maulvi Sahab in addition to monthly fee. They were all thinking about it. Suddenly, Ram Tirtha said, Pitaji, please give him our best cow that gives milk. He has also given me the best milk, that is, milk of knowledge. Father and teacher were both thrilled to hear such intelligent reverence of Ram Tirtha. Enlightened souls. Ram Krishna Paramhans was walking on river bank with his disciples. There some fishermen were catching fish in their net. Swamiji asked his disciples, please observe carefully the behavior of fishes in net. They noticed that some remained dormant in net, some tried to come out but failed, while some freed themselves and went back into the river. Paramhans explained, as you see 3 types of fishes, so there are 3 types of persons. Largest number is of those who are entangled in worldly affairs and never think of coming out. Then comes those who take courage to leave worldly bondage but could not do so. Third category is of rare persons who succeed to renounce the world. When Paramhans finished, one of his disciples said, Gurudev, you have not told about the 4th category. Yes, 4th category is of those enlightened souls who don't go near the net at all. Such rare persons only perform their duty without getting involved and without craving for anything. Don't worry for abuses. Once a Parsi asked Swami Dayanand, many people condemn and abuse you. How to check them? Swamiji said, even God is abused by many people. Then why worry for me? If a person is true before his soul and God, he should not care for the world. True persons never fear. Pure hand. Guru Gobind Singh was thirsty. He asked the villagers, I want to drink water from pure hands. They brought water after cleaning the pot and washing their hands. Guruji said, hands become pure if they work for the welfare of others. I mean to take water from such a person. As there was no such person in that village, he moved on thirsty. Only those persons are pious, pure and gentle who help and care for others. Sant Rabia. Sant Rabia was doing penance in a forest. Many birds and animals lived around her comfortably. Hassan, who was also a reputed sant, reached there. As he came close to Rabia, all birds and animals fled from there. He was astonished and asked Rabia, these birds and animals were fearlessly roaming near you, but fled on seeing me. Why? Rabia smilingly asked, what do you eat? Hassan replied, mostly meat is available to me. Rabia laughed. She said, people may think about you as they wish, but these innocent creatures fully understand the feelings of your heart. That is why, for good sanskars, one must practice restraint and pay special attention to his food. Food obtained by cruelty is harmful in every respect. Gentility must expand. Sant Nanak reached a village while walking with his disciples. People of that village were very gentle and entertained them with reverence and devotion. When going from there, Nanakji blessed, be uprooted. None could understand its meaning. Now they reached another village where people abused and disregarded them. They also tried to beat them. Nanakji blessed them, be settled here. This was also not understood. His disciples asked Bhagwan, you have blessed, be uprooted to those who respected and revered you, while who had insulted were blessed, be settled here. Why such wrong blessings? Nanak said, if gentle people are uprooted from here, they will go to other places, and with them gentility will also expand. As such, their uprooting and movement is in the interest of society. Those who are wicked and uncivilized must remain confined at one place. If they move around, they will create disturbance. Gentle persons expand gentility. Anger is the greatest enemy. Sant Chand Kaushik, in his next birth, was born as a very poisonous snake. He used to chase persons, and whosoever came in his range was bitten and poisoned to death. Once Bhagwan Mahavir reached an ashram where Chand Kaushik was living as a snake. He was also bitten by him. His leg was bleeding, but he kept smiling and excused him. He also stopped the persons who wanted to kill the snake. Chand Kaushik recognized the enlightened soul of Bhagwan Mahavir. He repented and apologized. Mahavir Swami said, "You are not at fault. Actual culprit is anger, which is the greatest enemy of man. It makes a person mad, blind, and criminal. You did penance, but did not conquer your anger. That is why you are born as a snake. First conquer anger and then do penance." Panch Pyare of Guru Gobind Singh. Guru Gobind Singh organized a Narmed Yagya. At that time he announced, "Brothers, to liberate our country, Chandi wants sacrifice. Those who are prepared to give their head may come forward." Nobody had the courage to offer himself. After some time, a boy named Dayaram came. Guru took him to one side and gave a blow of his sword. A strong current of blood started flowing. People were frightened. Guruji again challenged them. One by one, Dharamdas, Mohkam Chand, Himmat Rai, and Sahib Chand came, and same process was followed. None else came thereafter. Now Guruji went inside and brought those 5 boys before perplexed people. He told that it was a test of their valor and devotion. Heads of goats were actually cut. Now many persons shouted and offered their sacrifices, but Guruji refused and said, "These 5 are better than 5,000 in this crowd." It is a historical fact that these Panch Pyare were the strong foundation of Sikh organization. Those who are not dormant, recognize the circumstances and need of the time, and come forward to help, incarnated persons become immortal. No age limit for learning. Swami Ram Tirtha was on tour and reached Japan. There he met a lean and thin old man, aged 75 years. Like a young man, he was enthusiastically learning German language. Swamiji asked, "Baba, what is the use of learning German at this age?" Old man replied, "Swamiji, there is no age limit for learning. I have done MSc in zoology. There are many good books in German on this subject. I will translate them in Japanese for the benefit of my countrymen." Seeing his zeal and interest in improving education of his country, Swamiji was highly impressed. He touched his feet and said, "I am now sure that nobody can stop Japan's progress. Such persons make the country proud." Audio 2. Stories of Saints. Practical teaching of Nanak Dev. Guru Nanak Dev's teachings were always practical. Once on a pilgrimage, he reached Hardwar. He saw many persons performing the ritual of Tarpan as directed by Pandits. He also stood in Ganga and started offering water towards west instead of east. People considered him a fool and asked to offer water towards east. Nanak Dev said, "But my village is towards west. I am offering water to irrigate my fields there." People laughed and said, How can fields be irrigated from such a distance? Nanak ji replied, Why not? My fields are hardly few hundred miles away. When your water of Tarpan can reach your ancestors in the other world, it can easily reach my fields. They had now nothing to say. Basis of married life. Once, Sant Kabir was sitting outside his house preaching before villagers. One youth asked, Maharaj, please tell me whether one should marry or not. Kabir remained quiet for some time, then called his wife and said, Look, it is very dark here. Please bring a lighted lamp. She went inside and brought a lighted lamp. Youth laughed and said, Maharaj, you are a funny person, and your wife is even more. You are calling the day as night, and she has also confirmed your thinking by lighting a lamp. This seems to be a good drama. Kabir smilingly said, No drama, my boy, but reply to your question. If boy and girl have such deep faith and devotion for each other, then only they shall marry. Mutual trust is essential for a happy married life. Importance of thoughts. Great intellectual Swami Ram Tirtha was in America. He was once talking to a group of ladies and replying to their queries about religion. One woman asked, Krishna was surrounded by gopi ladies. Can a person who always remains in the company of ladies be treated as pure? Swamiji replied, Why shall you doubt it? One's character depends on his thoughts. Purity of thoughts never allows him to deviate from virtuous acts. I don't believe it, said that woman. Swamiji at once left his seat and started running. After some distance, he stopped and looked back. Most of the ladies were also running behind him. When they came near him, Swamiji asked, Have I become impure in your company? No, absolutely not, they all said. Then how Yogiraj Krishna may be called impure? Result of bad deeds. Those days, Bhagwan Mahavir was practicing self-restraint. One wicked person named Sangam was trying to infuriate him. He wanted that Mahavir may somehow become angry. Once he poured boiling milk over him, but he was not at all disturbed. Wicked Sangam repented and with tears flowing from his eyes, begged apology. Mahavir also had tears in his eyes. He said, Dear Sangam, I am not worried for the burns caused by boiling milk. I am actually distressed to think as to how painful will be the result of your cruel acts. One has to suffer the result of his wrong deeds either today or tomorrow. Divine gifts of gods. Sant Gyaneshwar was once holding a discourse. He was explaining that God gives knowledge, prudence, power and devotion to suitable persons only. On hearing this, one woman was enraged and said, This is rather injustice by God. He must give equally to every person. Sant kept quiet at that time and finished his discourse. Next day in the morning, he sent a foolish person to the house of that woman to borrow her ornaments for a day. That fool went to her and asked for her ornaments. She refused and scolded him. After some time, Sant Gyaneshwar himself went to her and said, Please give your ornaments for one day. I will return tomorrow. She at once opened the box and gave the ornaments. Sant asked, Shortly before one person had asked you to give ornaments, why you did not give to him? Women said, How could I give such costly ornaments to that fool? Sant Gyaneshwar smiled and said, Sister, when you can't give ordinary ornaments to unsuitable person, how God can give his most valuable divine gifts to ordinary and incompetent persons? He always tests and gives only to deserving persons. Home of God. Once on a tour of West Asia, Guru Nanak reached Kaaba. Unknowingly, he slept with his legs towards Kaaba. One Muslim Maulvi saw it and scolded, "You fool, you are sleeping here with your legs towards the home of God." Nanak said, "Mullaji, I am an outsider. Kindly put my legs to that side where there is no home of God." Mullah was perplexed. He thought that God is omnipresent and lives everywhere. How could he say that God does not live on a particular side? He quietly went away. He realized that God is really omnipresent. God is above greed and attachment. Mathura Babu, a disciple of Ram Krishna Paramhans, got a temple constructed and enshrined in it a very attractive idol of Bhagwan Vishnu. It was decorated with costly clothes and ornaments. After a few days, a thief took away all costly ornaments of the idol. Mathura Babu was dejected and said, "Bhagwan, you had a gada and a chakra, two weapons in your hands. Yet thief took away your ornaments. We, human beings, are better than you. We would have certainly resisted." Paramhans listened to this and said, "Mathura Babu, Bhagwan has no greed or attachment for ornaments like you. Moreover, all the wealth of the world is present in his treasury. Why shall he care for such petty things? God is not like human beings. He is above greed and attachment." Audio 3. Stories of Saints. Way of Thinking. Sant Kabir Das had become famous as an enlightened person. People used to come to him from far off places for solution to their problems. Kabir continued weaving cloth as before while talking to them. One day a disciple said, "When you were an ordinary person, it was good to weave cloth. But now you are a reputed, enlightened intellectual, and there's no financial problem also. Now why should you weave cloth?" Kabir politely replied, "Previously I was weaving for my living only, but now I am weaving to clothe the God present in every person, and also for my concentration. Public is like God for me." He was doing the same work, but the way of thinking was changed, and that made all the difference. Mother's simplicity. Once, mother of Ramakrishna Paramhans came to Kolkata, and out of affection lived with him for few days. Owner of Dakshineshwar temple, Rasmani, thought her to be a poor but respectable woman and gave valuable gifts. Old mother refused all and took just one cardamom to eat for honoring her. Everyone appreciated her attitude and said, "Only such mothers can give birth to a son like Paramhans." Good qualities and sanskars of mother make children great. 1 paisa of Raidas. Sant Raidas was a cobbler. He did his job with full dedication and honesty, as if worshipping the God. Once he assured a sadhu to go to Ganga on Somvati Amavasya with him. That sadhu always remained busy in meditation and penance. On the day of Amavasya, sadhu came to Raidas and asked to accompany him for Ganga Shnan. At that time, Raidas was busy in stitching shoes. He had to deliver shoes that day. He was unable to go and said, "Mahatma ji, please excuse me. I am not fortunate to have Ganga Snan. Please take 1 paisa from me and offer to Ganga Mata on my behalf." Sadhu reached Ganga, and after bath, he recalled what Raidas had said. He took out 1 paisa and offered to Ganga, saying, "Mother, this paisa is from Raidas. Please accept." Soon, 2 hands came out of river and respectfully accepted that paisa. Sadhu was perplexed. He thought that his worshipping and penance have not yet been rewarded. But Raidas has got recognition even without coming to Ganga Snan. He went to Raidas and told him everything. Raidas said, Mahatma Ji, this is the result of my devotion to duty and not of any worship or ritual. Really, work is worship. Share with others. Once, Sant Tukaram got a bundle of sugar canes and was bringing that to his home. In the way, children were playing. Knowing about simple and loving nature of Tukaram, they asked for sugarcane. Tukaram gave one to each of them, and only one sugarcane remained with him. Tukaram's wife had got earlier information that he was bringing a bundle of sugarcanes. But when she saw him with only one sugarcane, she was enraged and gave a blow on his back with that sugarcane. It was broken in two parts. Tukaram smiled and said, Devi, you have divided it equally. We will take one each. Whatever God has given to us, we must share with others. Examine your Guru. It happened at the time when Swami Vivekanand had just developed some attraction for Guru Ram Krishna Paramhans. Then he was called Narendra Dutt. Ram Krishna was a great sant. He never cared for any property and never even touched money or gold silver. Narendra could not believe this. He could never think of a person who would never touch money. He decided to examine Guru Ramakrishna. Once when Ramakrishna was out of his room, Narendra secretly placed 1 rupee coin under his bed. When Ramakrishna came and sat on the bed, he suddenly got up and checked his bed. He saw the coin under it. All present were surprised. Narendra was standing with his head down. Ramakrishna looked towards him and said, Narendra, you were examining your Guru. It is good. Before making someone your Guru, he must be properly examined. Progress yourself. Swami Ram Tirtha was a teacher at the time. Once he drew a line on blackboard and asked the students, can any of you shorten this line without scratching or touching it? One intelligent boy came up. He drew a bigger line on blackboard near the first line and said, Gurudev, now that line has become short. Swamiji explained, students, similarly, you must always try to expand your qualities to become superior to others. Never try to demoralize others for this. One must progress by his own efforts. Humility of Paramhans. Dr. Mahendranath Sarkar was a very reputed and rich doctor of Calcutta, Kolkata. Once he went to meet famous Sant Ram Krishna Paramhans. At that time, Paramhans was in the garden. He appeared so simple and modest that Dr. Sarkar thought him to be a gardener. He called him and said, O gardener, bring some good flowers to me. I have to offer them to Paramhans. Paramhans humbly followed his order. After some time, discourse began. Dr. Sarkar was surprised to see that the person whom he thought to be a gardener was Paramhans himself. He was badly ashamed. Paramhans was extraordinarily humble. It is true, humility is the ornament of great men. It changes a man as a superman. Pleasure of giving. Once Swami Ram Tirtha was on a tour and was staying at the house of a lady. Tired after days preaching, he returned in the evening. He used to cook his meal himself. When he was cooking, some children came there. They looked hungry. Swamiji gave them 1 bread each. That lady was looking at all of this. She was amazed and asked, You have given away all the bread to these children. Now what will you eat? Swamiji smiled and in a very happy mood said, Mataji, Bread can only satisfy the hunger of stomach. If not of my stomach, then of others. But the pleasure of giving is more delightful. Great devotee Namdev, the greatest touchstone of devotion to God is to have his glimpse in every living being and to treat them with love and affection. Great devotee Namdev was 100% true to this. One day he was cooking bread for himself. A dog came and took away all bread by holding in his mouth. Namdev took the bowl of ghee and went where dog has taken the bread. He said to the dog, "My God, I had this ghee also for you. Why are you eating dry bread?" He applied ghee to the bread and very lovingly fed the dog. True devotee is he who looks for God in every living being. All men are equal. Amar Das was the third guru of Sikh sect. He started the tradition that all his disciples must take food together at one place. Those days, thinking of higher caste and lower caste and rich and poor were most prevalent. People used to differentiate on this count, and there were many disputes and fights also. Amar Das wanted to eradicate this evil and hence ordered that all will sit and dine together in Pankhat. One should not think about rich or poor and upper or lower. Everyone is the son of the same God. They are all brothers and sisters. By dining together, mutual love increases. Service is real worship. Sant Gyaneshwar was once walking on the bank of a river. One Mahatma was meditating there. A boy was bathing in the river. Suddenly, the boy slipped into deep water and was drowning. He cried for help. Mahatma looked towards him and again closed his eyes for meditation. Gyaneshwar at once jumped into the river and pulled back the boy. On the river bank, he asked Mahatma, "What are you doing here?" Mahatma replied, "Chanting mantras and meditating." He again closed his eyes. "Could you see the God?" Sant Gyaneshwar asked again. Mahatma said, "No, I am not able to concentrate." Sant Gyaneshwar explained, "How could you? First get up and serve poor and distressed persons. Share and solve their problems. Otherwise, there is no use of your meditation." Mahatma realized his mistake. He ought to have saved the boy. From that day, he started serving poor and needy people along with his meditation. Seeds of ego. Two disciples of Ramakrishna Paramhans had a dispute as to who among them was superior. They approached Gurudev and asked, "Gurudev, who among us is superior?" Paramhans smiled and said, "You are quarreling on such a petty issue. It is very simple. One who considers others as superior is himself superior and great." With this solution, both felt ashamed. Seed of ego in them was crushed and destroyed. One should never have ego of superiority.